and welcome to this edition of Pets and Their People. I'm Kim, and I'll be your host. This episode is the 15th, and so as a special, we're going to introduce different people who've previously been on the show and what got them interested in working with animals. So first, we have Angela Wilcox from Leisurely Life, who's going to explain how she got interested in becoming a dog trainer.
Hi, I'm Angela Vessia Wilcox, and I'm the owner of Leisurely Life, and I actually provide dog sitting, dog walking, and obedience training services for the local area, including Norwood. And I'm here to talk about my experience with pets. Let's see. Well, when I was growing up, my mother and father really didn't allow pets in the home, so I didn't have a lot of experience with animals, but I loved them. And we did have some pets. We had some rabbits that we were allowed to keep outside. And, from there, we sort of, always wanted to have more pets, but it wasn't until I got older and had my own place that I decided I would, have pets in the home. So my first pet was a cat named Buddy. And he was a great cat, and was, I worked full time, so I really couldn't keep a lot of, pets around that I had to leave alone for a long period of time. So I started off with a really cool cat named Buddy. And then from there, I sort of always had a dog in the home. But it wasn't until about February, I think 2008, I started my business. I decided to learn how to do some obedience training for my dog, and worked with a master trainer right here in the local area, and it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. I loved working with the different breeds and the different temperaments, and just learning all kinds of things about dogs, and I really was able to apply that to my pet at the time. From there, I started my own business and started to do the pet sitting and the dog walking, and really started working with owners on training their pets. Which was, really a gratifying experience, because, it's really, I say this to all my clients, it's really not the dog that we're training, it's really the owners, so that we're trying to get the owners to understand, what it is that their dog is trying to tell them, and sort of have this communication between the two of them. So it's really been an interesting experience, and I think the people that have gone through the training have really found it beneficial and really helped them build that relationship between themselves and their pet. My first pet was the rabbit, and then from there I had my cat Buddy. It was just kind of a, another mixed breed cat. It wasn't anything extraordinary, but it was really, really fun and cool. And he was an indoor and outdoor cat, so he would have his, time roaming around outside, and then he would come in and hang out with me every night, and we had a nice time. And then I said from there I had another dog, which was a chocolate lab. Named, what was his name? Bailey. I couldn't remember. My other dog was named Bailey, and Bailey was really only about a year and a half before I lost him. He was hit by a car, which was very unfortunate. And then after that, I brought my dog Maisie on board, and Maisie's a mixed breed. And she's about 7 years old now, and she's a wonderful little companion. She's with me everywhere by my side, and I work from home, so I get to spend a lot of time with her. We get out every day and do some hiking and walking, and it's really fun having her around. And I just really could not imagine not having a pet in the home now going forward. I think they just bring so much love and joy into your life that anyone who doesn't have one can't really understand until they have one.
Marcia Mata introduces how she became interested in rescue and how she started the Bay State Animal Cooperative and the Brockton Cat Coalition.
Hi, my name is Marcia Mata. I am the founder and president of the Bay State Animal Cooperative, and I live here in Norwood. It all began, as most kids or people do, as a child. I was always a little passionate about animals when I was growing up in New Hampshire. We had, majority of our pets were rodents, bunnies, we always had dogs, and ironically, we never actually owned a cat in my history of childhood history of pets. So that's how it kind of all began. And my father was very passionate about caring for animals, so we always were picking up strays on the side of the road as far as stray wild animals. A bunny might have had a broken leg or been injured. We would pick it up, bring it back to the house, try to fix it up. We'd pick up mice. I always had a pet mouse or two. A lot of the rodents, the gerbils, we always kept them. And then turtles, reptiles, the dogs, and cared for all those. But I always had a passion and wanted to pursue something in the animal industry. My first pet, or my first recollection of a pet, was a dog named Suki, and it was a beagle, and I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I just remember having Suki. And as I grew up, we had Irish setters, and then I always had bunnies. We were not privy to spay-neuter, so we had a lot of bunnies all the time. And other than that, I had one little mouse once named Panama, who I loved, and it was just a cute little rodent, but we really loved him. And then as I grew older, I did pursue veterinary medicine at the University of Maine, and then moved down to Massachusetts and went to Emmanuel College pursuing chemistry, kind of changing over to more of a chemistry than pre-vet. And I worked at Angel Memorial Animal Hospital, and I think that was what gave me the most impact on what I wanted to do. At the time, I worked in the clinic, and I rescued a dog named Domino, who was, unfortunately, his 10-day limit was up, and he was going to be euthanized. And he had a broken leg, and at that point, I kind of was caring for him while he was there and fell in love with him. And that's when I started to say, I need to work in the rescue field. I put pre-vet aside and moved on to chemistry, got my degree in chemistry, and from there, on the side as a volunteer from that day forward, for the rest of, till today, I've worked voluntarily with animal rescue and the rescue of animals that are homeless or need care or rescuing. Bay State Animal Cooperative is kind of a subset of the initial group was called, or that we still have, is called Brockton Cat Coalition. So what happened was I have in the 90s, I was privy or learned about trap, neuter, return when I wasn't living here in Norwood. And then I moved to Norwood, and I caught up with a group that was doing and practicing trap, neuter, return, which is a nationally recognized program for feral cats. And they were doing it here in Norwood. So I joined in with that group and started to practice the trapping and spaying and neutering of the homeless and feral cats in the community of Norwood. We really got a lot of work done here in Norwood. A lot of the apartment complexes we really got under control. A lot of control colonies still exist today, and it was a very successful program and still is. From there, we got a lot of phone calls coming from a lot of different areas, and the primary place that we seemed to get calls from was Brockton. So I kind of drifted off and said, I can still do what I'm doing from Norwood and help other cats or concentration places that really had a lot of concentration of feral cats. So I initiated the Brockton Cat Coalition, which at the time was not a full-fledged nonprofit. From there, I knew I wanted to make it a bigger thing, a bigger picture, a bigger mission. So we decided as a group, myself and a few others that I had talked to, about what we want to call this, where we want to go with this. And we expanded it to call it the Bay State Animal Cooperative, which in fact makes it more evident that it's not just cats, though cats is our primary rescue and our primary resources that we have available are for cat rescue. But we wanted to allow groups to come underneath us that work with any kind of animals. So we have a group exemption, and with that group exemption, groups can come underneath us as affiliates under our group exemption and practice rescue and different practices with animals. So that's where we're started. Based on Brockton, and then we moved it into a bigger picture and wanted to develop groups under us. At this point, we have only 2 groups under us, Canton Rescue and Brockton Cat Coalition. We are looking to expand at any time to basically give groups in their own areas the ability to just practice what they already do, but as a nonprofit under us. We're a no-kill rescue group. That was very important to me. So as we moved forward, we wanted to make sure all the groups under us practice the same thing. So I'd say it started in Brockton. We do a lot of rescue in Brockton. However, we do, being here in Norwood myself and being in the Petco Adoption Center, we do a lot here in Norwood in the areas around us. We basically do the best we can with what we have. I want to introduce you to Coco. This is one of my rescues. Hey, Coco, say hi. Coco's 13, but I've had her for 10 years now, and she was a rescue from the Norwood Animal Shelter. She came in, and then I was asked if I would be interested in her, and here she is. Oh, baby. I have her, and I have a wonderful other dog named Zeus. So we have dogs and cats still at our home, and my whole family practices, animal rescue, and they all are very into loving the animals. So my family's great support.
I'm here at Petco's Adoption Center, which is where Nemo here is up for adoption. So Marcia Mata from the Bay State Animal Cooperative is going to introduce Nemo.
Hi, this is Nemo. Nemo, say hi. Nemo might have the appropriate name because sometimes it is like Finding Nemo, because Nemo is a very shy domestic short-haired orange tiger here at Petco in Norwood. He's about 8 months old, we're guessing, based on what we've learned about him. Him and his siblings were rescued from a backyard of an elderly woman who was caring for them. Their mom had had them in her yard, and then she disappeared. So the kitties, fortunately, are very affectionate. Nemo has a little work to be done. Nemo's a little shy, as you can see. He kind of can't wait to get back in his cage. So we're very fortunate. We have a lot of really nice volunteers that work with him. But Nemo is up for adoption. He does need a patient, quiet home that will understand that he needs a little bit of a hands-on attention, restriction to a small space till he gets comfortable. And we think he's going to be a wonderful pet, but he does need a little bit of attention, a little bit of compassionate care by a new home. But he's got that right now here with all of our volunteers. So this is Nemo. He's neutered, he's vaccinated, and ready for adoption.
Next, Rachel Mulligan from Rachel's Dog Training and Grooming introduces how she got interested in working with all kinds of animals and the different animals that she's rescued, including a couple squirrels.
Hi, my name is Rachel Mulligan, and I work at the Norwood Animal Hospital here in Norwood. And we're just going to tell you a little bit of how I got into liking animals and ended up being here. Since I was a little kid, I've always liked animals, and I've always had cats, dogs, small animal pets. Brought home a couple squirrels and really freaked my parents out. But I've always really liked them. So when I was a teenager, I got into the Old New England Science Center. It's now the Ecotarium in Worcester, Massachusetts. And I started being an eco-teen there to keep me busy after school, keep me out of trouble. And then I got to interact with the people and the animals, learn about them. And I moved my way up to being a naturalist, which is direct contact with the animals, feeding, doing programs with them, teaching younger children about the animals, how they live, what they eat, and things like that. Still followed the path of dogs, always had a dog. Trained my own dogs, both sides of my grandparents. Bred and trained German Shepherds, Beagles, Dachshunds. So I kind of followed their career path and started working at Petco. And I got into doing the grooming and the dog training there. Ended up working up to being the trainer who trains the other dog trainers and the groomers. And then I found myself here at the Norwood Animal Hospital, trying to further my education even more about the medical aspect of grooming and training, learning about dogs and cats' behavioral aspects. And I've learned a lot, and I look forward to learning even more. As far as pets go, at the moment I have a couple ferrets, I have 3 dogs, 3 cats, I have some fish. I've always had a fish tank. I have a bearded dragon and a baby sulcata tortoise, which will probably get really, really big if you remember the last one. In the past, I've had little canaries, I've had some parakeets. Like I said, I've brought home a couple squirrels and chipmunks, had some salamanders. I had a lot of big dogs, a lot of little dogs. I like both. I think I had a pigeon once. His name was Bob. Loved him. He just kind of flew down and became my friend one day. Hung out in my garden. And I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. I had a tegu. A tegu is it's like a monitor lizard, and they can get to be about 5 to 6 feet. Almost similar to iguanas, only they eat a whole bunch of variety of foods instead of just greens and lettuces and things like that. They have a wider range of what you can feed them. It's easier to take care of them. But they're more like a dog. They don't whip you with their tail like iguanas do and everything, so a little bit cooler. A little step up from an iguana. But I think that's about it.
We're here at the Norfolk County Animal Hospital, which is where Dr. Poor works. She's also a volunteer vet for the Bay State Animal Cooperative. She explains why she became interested in becoming a vet and about the cat she recently adopted from the Bay State Animal Cooperative.
I think veterinary medicine is a unique career in the sense that not only do you get to do what you love, and that's working with the animals, but also you can take it in many different directions. You can go into research, you can go into primary care, you can do any species that you choose to do. But for me, it really was the combination of the animals, the people, and the science that brought me into this career, but I think it's great. For me, it started at a very young age. I felt that I had a feeling of needing to be around animals, and a good way to show that I cared for them was to go into a profession that allowed me to do that. I was also very interested in the sciences, the workings of biology, chemistry, and then eventually medicine. And it also was another way to help strengthen the human-animal bond by getting to work with people and getting to know the people who were taking care of these animals as well. So it was the perfect combination for a career. Well, I'd always loved horses, but actually in veterinary school, I felt that I could make more of an impact by working with small animals, particularly cats and dogs, as I knew coming back to Massachusetts was going to be important to me, and that especially working in this area, being around my family, and being able to take care of pets that we had in our homes. So small animals, dogs and cats primarily, although some of my associates see rabbits and guinea pigs and whatnot. So we have fun doing that. Initially, no. My sister and I probably drove my mother crazy, and then at about the age of 5 she gave in and got us a rabbit, which we ended up having for 12 years, and then it started with one cat that turned into 5, and then added on a dog. So probably from the age of 5 on we had pets, but it was a little bit of a struggle to get them. For the Bay State Cooperative, I examine the cats at Petco once weekly to make sure that they are in good shape, that their vaccines are up to date, and that they're doing well and ready for their new homes. Girls. Some of the other things we help Bay State out with is if a patient does need care beyond vaccines and examination, we do that as well, including performing dentistries and taking care of anybody who might become ill whilst in their care. It's been a little bit over a year now. It's been a great relationship, and they do fantastic work. I have 2 cats, and recently actually just adopted a cat from Bay State. And so no, we have 3 tortoiseshell cats now. Yes, Stormy, who we've actually kept her name, is a 6-month-old, I guess you could call her feral. She was living outside, but is amazingly friendly. And very, very sweet. She's actually here today, having some blood work done, but is a great cat. And we're very happy Bay State found her. She's going to be a great addition to the family. Huh. Do you look? And she's very, very affectionate. My husband actually fell in love with her when she was here being spayed. We do Bay State spay and neuters as well, and he popped in with my daughter to visit, and I wasn't quite ready to get another cat, but I was convinced.
Thank you for watching this edition of Pets and Their People, and thank you to all the people who volunteer their time to work with animals. I'm Kim, and that's it for this episode of Pets and Their People.